Hi, I'm Kelly Boroff with Arrieda Consulting. This is our Keeping It Simple video series where we cover a topic in the industry in about 5 to 7 minutes, just giving some perspective on it. Our topic today is continuous integration, continuous delivery, and DevOps. It's really kind of like three topics, but they all go together. And to keep it simple, we're going to cover basically what it is, what it means in a corporate environment, why you would like to do it, the benefits, and then why it's challenging for us as we try to move from just adopting Agile into these more advanced Agile positions. So as you look at this, I always start with our waterfall environment because that's where we've started in corporate America, and we have a long lineage of delivering product in a waterfall type development process. But as you all know, it was a full product, a complete puzzle put together that we then moved from, our engineering environment, our desktops, into a formal QA environment. Once we passed that, it went into an integration environment where we were tested with the other applications and the other components in our normal production environment. Then we went to pre-prod, where we were basically staged and waiting for our approval to move to production, and then finally to production. And this, although it was, pretty arduous, and it was something that has been well ingrained into our corporate environments, and something that we're all very accustomed to. So how has Agile changed that? Well, what we've done with Agile, and pretty typically with the adoption of Agile, we have dramatically changed our engineering method. We now developed in a collaborative form. We have gotten rid of a lot of the paperwork. We deliver very fluidly, meaning our requirements are adapting and we're optimizing those decisions throughout that development. But the most important thing is we're now delivering just a piece of that full picture at a time. And that piece is built to be delivered all the way to production now. But most of us have not changed the QA and pre-prod path that we've had previously as our method to get to production. So I've left all that the same. So when you look at continuous integration, what that does for us is says we now need to, and have taken the responsibility of the requirements of integration, meaning how to play with others and how to interact with others. And we've moved that forward into our build cycle. We now take those requirements into account when we build this component piece. And all other applications are now adhering to these contracts and SLAs. And so therefore, that is automated and taken into account at QA time. And we can now get rid of that integration environment and move straight into staging for production. When we talk about continuous delivery, we now take into account that we iterate into production. We no longer need to stage in pre-prod to feel comfortable for this product to go into production. We have adapted our practices across likely other divisions in the organization to support that iterative cycle into production environment. Most of the time, you'll still do that out of a QA environment first, to get that clearance of QA. However, when we go to DevOps, we now are taking the responsibility and the requirements for infrastructure that meets the production environment, and we're taking all of that into account at the time that we build that puzzle piece. And what that means is we are not only building real-time infrastructure, we are building right fit infrastructure for the production environment. Now, remember before, when we were moving through all these different environments, we had to scale down and make changes in that infrastructure component to our product to get through these other environments and then open it back up and specialize it for production at the time in pre-prod. Now you don't have to do that because we're laser focused on those requirements in early stages and with production only. So again, very simplified. Moving in iterations, laser focused on that production environment. So why do you do it? Well, it does reduce a ton of errors. Now you think, making it through all those stages actually helps you find errors, but it also created a lot of errors as well, because we were having to fit that product for each environment that we went through, which was unique, and then ultimately fit it to production. This also pushes a lot of the errors that we would have found earlier into our cycle, so that we have cleaner code earlier in the cycle, which ultimately reduces our cost. Not only reduces our cost because we have higher quality code and our infrastructure is right fit to production, but it greatly reduces the cost of maintaining and keeping up those multiple environments that we used as the path to production. You're now very sensitive and responsive to business market changes, and you're also more responsive to security changes. So both your speed to market is improved and your responsiveness to security is improved. Along with, from a security standpoint, you've greatly reduced your risk exposure by getting rid of all of those endpoints that existed in those pre-prod environments. It's a huge number of endpoints that are now not susceptible to hackers to get into your environment. And then as an added bonus, I put this out here, you're starting to develop a flexible workforce, one that understands not just the business component of the product, but also the infrastructure needs of that product and the infrastructure opportunities that can be gained as you develop the code. And you're moving now to more of a by product cost model, where you can see by product the cost of products, and moving away from that large IT cost center that was usually represented by horizontal and skill set cost. So you're kind of moving out of the cost center model into an investment-based model. Well, why is it challenging? So component-based design and practice, that is something that you have to do very, very well. You have to understand that the piece that you are delivering is actually a production piece, and you have to understand how to design it wholly and completely, and then you have to make that a consistent practice amongst your team. You have to develop those contracts and SLAs, like we talked about, how things interact with your component and how your component will interact with others and what SLAs will be supported. And then you have to automate, so that you have consistency in testing and rigor, so that as you move to a direct production environment, you are minimizing that potential to disrupt the business. The skills for people to know, understand, and be able to develop both your infrastructure side of your product and the business side of your product is not necessarily prevalent today. I think you could find it, but what's more likely going to happen is you're going to develop it. As you develop these types of environments, you'll develop that skill. And last, but certainly not least, you have cultural tradition in our corporate America. That is something you will have to transform as you remove these divisional walls of skill set and platform responsibility and into the vertical of a product. And I think that is it for today. I appreciate it. We are right at the mark, a little over, but come back and see us. I'm Kelly at Arrieda.com. Send me your feedback and send me any topics you'd like to see in the future. Thank you.